Christy Primmer is a Canadian author, TV show host of Women Who Lead, and a registered mental health counselor. Christy founded her company Primetime Consulting Services in 2011 and is here to inspire us all to embrace our greatness and chase after our dreams with passion and purpose. Welcome to the show, Christy.
Hi, Candace. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited to have you here. I've been following you on Instagram.
Yeah, it's
stalking you a little bit. Yeah, so you say that creating your best life is about aligning with your core values. So tell me what that means.
Yeah, so in my experience, personal and professional, it's hard to create your best life. That's like the common saying these days, but what does it mean?
Right.
Well, what it means is you're aligned with who you are, what your desires are, and what you value most. So you can actually create your life around those. Mm-hmm. So
I think part of the struggle for women is actually finding out what those are. What are those core values?
Yeah. Well, in Primetime Success, my first book, I write about everything from spiritual down to physical, mental health, emotional. Like I break it down in a structure so women can start exploring different categories and finding out what do they cherish most. Is it family? Is it work? Like there's no right or wrong. And part of what I want women to know is our core values can be whatever they are for us. There's no right or wrong, right?
Right.
It's not dictated, it's discovered.
And, also, I love that, by the way, not dictated. I love that. That's so great. But also, I think, as we age and go through stages in our lives, those things are going to change for us as well, right? So it's important to identify when those change and not struggle with that, because I think we go, it's not my children anymore, and then we feel bad.
Yes. It's funny you say that. So I'm almost an empty nester. My son's heading off to college. And I went through my own book, actually, and reevaluated my values because I'm always going to be mom. I'm always going to love being mom. But now I'm in a different season. And now I have to look at what is really pertinent in my life and what has shifted in my values. And there's some non-negotiables like my source connection, my husband, my family, my marriage. But that's also work. Mm-hmm. And some of my values are freedom, having freedom, time freedom, money freedom, living the life I want. So that's a value that's non-negotiable. But yeah, you're right. They shift, right? Seasons in life make us shift our values.
Right. So something else you said, because I am the queen of I'm sorry. I say I will apologize for apologizing. I will also, I'm sorry. And the people say, you don't have to say you're sorry. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you say that what is this doing to women?
I believe that every time we apologize for something that doesn't merit an apology, we deplete our self-esteem. And I think I always look at my clients, the male clients I work with, and I work with some amazing men. They're not sitting around saying sorry. Women, we'll go into the grocery store. We want to get past someone with our cart. Oh, sorry. Why? Right. Sorry is something that should be reserved for a meaning when you actually need to apologize or you want to apologize, not for existing. And I feel like it depletes our self-esteem when we use sorry 100 times a day, 500 times a day. I mean, it's something we have to get conscious of.
Yeah, it's being cognizant of the language you're using, right?
Yes.
Because when you say sorry for something that doesn't merit it, then you're actually diminishing it, the meaning of it.
Yes.
So you're right. When you're in the grocery store, you say, excuse me.
Yeah. I've been in the boardroom with women before I had my own company, and they'd be like, oh, sorry, I want to ask a question. It's like, excuse me. Right. Please don't apologize for wanting to have some input and ask a question. You're just as valuable here as the men at the table. So
exactly.
I think that's something that you're right. We need to be more cognizant of and really pay attention to when we're using that language.
Right. I agree. Absolutely. So you talk about women getting back into the driver's seat of their own lives.
Yes.
I love that metaphor, by the way, because I love driving. I got a seriously heavy foot. And this is how I picture me going through my life, is speeding.
Vroom, vroom. Not for Mazda, just for your own life.
Exactly. Yeah. So how do you encourage women to get back into the driver's seat?
Yeah. So I think it goes back with getting clear on your values and then looking at what kind of life do you want to have. Women tend to ask other people for permission to make decisions that we get to make for ourselves. And part of getting back in the driver's seat is owning your choices, not waffling between what someone thinks you should do and what you want to do, really getting clear on who you are, what you want, and then taking that action towards your goals with intention.
You say that women need to step into their fierce feminine power.
Yes.
So what has been your experience with when women connect with this inner power? What's sort of the success you've seen?
Yeah, well, I can speak for myself. Years ago, I was a single mother, and I found myself caught up in the masculine. Do. And we all have masculine and feminine energy. It's not about being male or female, just to be clear. And what I've seen in myself, and also thousands of clients over the years, when women actually step back and let themselves receive and own their femininity and not feel ashamed for being a woman. I mean, I hate to say that, but that's really what it comes down to. Everything shifts for them. You know, there's no, how do I want to say, there's no right or wrong. But I feel like a lot of women, especially career-driven women, like I have been, we tend to compete with our male counterparts. And we lose that femininity along the way because we're push. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But what I teach women to do is to just slow down, step into who they are, own that intuition that we have, which comes from feminine energy and power, and make decisions from a conscious place. So
yeah, so you don't have to be the the mirror image of your male counterpart. You just need to be yourself. Yeah. And probably you'll be much more successful when that happens, right?
Yeah. And I know for me, before I had my own company, I was competing against a lot of different males, and I felt like I had to do 10 times more work to be recognized.
So what did you do before this then?
So I've always been in public education, counseling, that type of thing. But before I got really serious into that, I was a supervisor at an organization, healthcare organization. And although it was supervising like PSWs and homemakers and RPNs, a lot of the decision makers were men. Most of the staff were female, were women. And I really struggled at that time being young, starting out being young. Yes, I was well educated, but it was like I would put my hand up and I was overlooked. And add that to being a single mom at the time, I really was in my masculine energy. Now, I didn't know that then. This is something I've discovered in the last decade, but really trying to be heard from a place of not aggression, but over assertion wasn't working.
So did you have one of those, like, Oprah talks about these a lot, an aha moment where you went,
did.
Yeah, tell me about it. I love those moments.
I actually, my now husband, we were dating and I would always be go. And I remember one time he said to me, "You're not even present. Like you're working, like you don't, like just put your phone away, put your scheduling book away." I was in charge of scheduling. If you've ever scheduled a team, it's not desirable at times. Mm-hmm. And I remember just having this moment when I was like, what am I pushing for? I'm not getting paid more. I'm taking away from time with my son because he was very young at the time. And it's affecting my relationship. So it was like an aha moment for me where I was like, I can do this a different way, in a better way. So
I love that.
And I've never looked back. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's truly inspiring. I love when women embrace those moments and then make something of it. Yes. You just don't go aha and then don't change anything. Yes. You went aha and changed it all.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that though, because some women do get stuck.
Absolutely. So I feel very strongly that stuck is a decision. It's not a destination. And I feel like we spin on the hamster wheel sometimes for years. I myself have been guilty of that. So it's not finger pointing. It's just being aware of our choices, and being stuck is a choice. And some people hear that and they're like, no, but this, and this. And I get it. When we make decisions from a place of being in the driver's seat of our own lives, we are accountable for them, but we also take the action to get unstuck, right? There's so much life on the other side of being stuck in a marriage, stuck in a job, stuck in any situation that's not beneficial. Maybe it's toxic.
Well, I think for the most part, what keeps us stuck is our fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of what's on the other side.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been amazing. We have to have you back because I think we could talk forever.
I think so. I love it. Good energy.
I think we'll do a longer 30-minute podcast sometime with you about this, because it is a subject that I think is so important to women. And I know so many women personally who are going through this.
Absolutely.
So, but for now, for listeners at home, if they want to learn more and they want to talk to you and they want to get into the driver's seat, where do they go?
I'm really, really active on the Instagram at Christy_Primmer. My primetimecs.com is my website. My books are available over Amazon and Indigo, and my next book will be all over 40,000 stores. It's published through a division of Hay House.
Amazing.
And just reach out. I read my DMs. It's me. They get me answering, not my team. So I'd love to connect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Candace.